think the Ravens are the biggest winners in the AFC North this offseason?
This is a team that consistently is going to be in position to contend because of how talented they are. The reality of it is those guys can play.
The AFC should watch out for the Baltimore Ravens this season.
Players in the NFL, certainly one of the best players at quarterback. They got a guy at tailback in J.K. Dobbins, who I think could be an all-pro. They got one of the best tight ends in football, a plethora of perimeter weapons, some health on the offensive line, a very good defensive line, one of the better young linebackers in the NFL, and a top 5 secondary. And no one talks about it.
Yo, what it is? Yo, welcome back to another episode of At the Bank, a Baltimore Ravens podcast. You feel me? Yo, this is the post-game coverage of the Baltimore Ravens versus Detroit Lions. And as you can see on the ticker at the bottom, in case you missed the game yesterday, if you did, I don't know how you missed it. But my Baltimore Ravens boy, Mollywop, destroyed the Detroit Lions and 38-6 fashion of an ass whooping. Like straight whoop their ass. I'm talking about, it seems like the Detroit Lions didn't even really come out their locker room until maybe about fourth quarter. You feel me? And I felt like the Detroit Lions only came down here just to eat some crabs with us. You feel me? They knew what that Baltimore crabs and that Old Bay season is like. So they was like, yo, let's go down there and get a try real quick. We ain't worrying about playing the Ravens. We just worrying about actually trying to taste their crabs for real. and it hurt them. It cost them. Think you're gonna come down here and saying all this trash talking that the Lions and the people that was rooting for the Lions was talking all that trash talking about how Jared Goff is the MVP candidate, how the Lions have finally turned their curve, and how the Lions is really going to beat the Ravens because the Ravens had lost to the Colts and lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, it looks like all of you high-powered analysts, guys that can like to go ahead and do your predictions and anything in that nature, you picked wrong. Because as I'm pretty sure Lamar and the rest of the crew has seen that the whole world was pretty much against the Ravens. You feel me? Even though I keep trying to stress and tell people that we are a top 5 defense team and our offense is a top 10 and that we will be coming eventually. Once that offense start clicking, oh my goodness, who is going to be able to stop us? And how are you going to be able to stop us? But it seems like everybody was like, no, don't worry about it. Detroit is going to do this. Detroit was going to do that. Well, Detroit ain't do nothing but took an L, showing that they are not the king of the jungle, that the Ravens are the true kings of the jungle. And that's exactly why I titled this episode Kings of the Jungle. Because normally the natural habitat, the lions are the king of the jungle. But not this time. The Detroit Lions was out there caged. They are caged. They are cage cats. That's what they are. They do good in Detroit, and they thought just because they did good against Kansas City and they was winning the games that they was supposed to win, they thought they was gonna come to the bank and try to make a withdrawal. Nah, dog, that ain't how it was gonna go down, man. And while I'm on this rant, I didn't see multiple people want to be trying to dog my man LJ, saying that LJ is not a true quarterback. He is not an elite quarterback. How did LJ get elite status? How come we giving LJ his praises now and blah, blah, blah? The reason why we are giving LJ his praises and the reason why we are saying that, well, at least I'm going to go ahead and say that he is an elite quarterback. Look at the type of receivers he had before. A Willie Snead, a Robert Seth, who else we had? We had a Dez Bryant once upon a time, and it wasn't even the Dez Bryant of good for real. Man, we had Deshaun Jackson, who was pretty much wasn't Deshaun Jackson who he was before. We had all these other types of wide receivers tried to come in, and remember the Ravens wasn't even worried about a wide receiver, but somehow, some way, Lamar still became MVP. Somehow, some way, Lamar still, before yesterday, was 15-1 against an NFC team. Somehow, some way, Lamar win and loss ratio, his wins are way better than his losses. But yet everybody wants to say, oh, he only won one playoff game. He didn't finish the last 2 seasons. Jalen Hurts didn't finish the season, didn't get MVP last year either. But people still crown him as the second best quarterback in the league. And it had to take last night for Jalen Hurts to even show that why he's even should be a top quarterback in this organization. Took him a little minute. But we ain't talking about Hurts. We talking about Lamar Jackson. And let me tell you that Lamar had a special day yesterday. And this is the reason why that we are on Lamar the way that we on him. Why we praise him. Why we give him his flowers. Why we gave him big play Zay flowers. You feel me? But no, yesterday Lamar was spectacular. He was 21 for 27. He threw over 393 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 1. And that passer rating of a 155.0. Look at that passer rate. I want everybody to pay attention to that passer rate because you want to know why? Here's the stat line for you since everybody likes stats. It's only one other quarterback in the history of the NFL that has 3 games with a passer rating of 155.0. 1. No, it's not Patrick Mahomes. No, it's not Jalen Hurts. No, it's not Joe Burrow. No, it's not Aaron Rodgers. It's none of those guys. One of those guys is Lamar Jackson. Did it 3 times. You want to know who's the other quarterback that did it? That nobody, well, I'm pretty sure everybody's going to believe that he did it. Tom Brady. He is in the class of his own with Tom Brady, the GOAT, as everybody would like to say. So this is the reason why that everybody was like, oh, y'all gave him too much money. He's not worth the 5 years. Yes, he is. And he just showed it. When you give him an offensive line, you give him some weapons, you give him some time to throw and go through his progressions. Look what he can do. Look what 3 passing touchdowns. Like I said, almost eclipsed 400 passing yards. And I think if he would have finished the game, he probably would have got it. You know what I mean? It was some plays that that we wish we could have got back, and we felt like that LJ could have just probably delivered that just a little bit better, but he delivered everything he possibly could, and he hit multiple wide receivers. He didn't just hit one wide receiver. He hit multiple wide receivers. He had hit, give me a second. He had hit Gus Edwards, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Odell Beckham, Rashad Bateman, Patrick Ricard, Nelson Aguilar, Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill. 9 different guys touched the ball yesterday. 9, not just 2 or 3. 9 different guys touched the ball yesterday. So do you know that's 9 different guys that was like that Lamar believes in, and he's seen and he was able to go through his progressions and read the right calls. He did it. So I don't know why people were still trying to say that Lamar is not that guy. Like I said, man, he 3 touchdowns. 2 was to Mark Andrews. National Tight Ends Day. Happy National Tight Ends Day. It was yesterday. And Mark Andrews showed that why he's the top tight end. And I get to him in a second. But we're going to keep on harping on Lamar and give Lamar his flowers, man. Like I said, Lamar has most definitely put himself into another MVP conversation. Because before this game, all they was talking about was Jared Goff being an MVP candidate. They didn't say nothing about Lamar. But I'm pretty sure Lamar put himself in that conversation for him having that stellar game, man. And shout out to Lamar, man. You most definitely balled out yesterday. Balled out tremendously, man. But let's get to some of these keys, man. Because I felt like the Ravens really listened to my keys. And I'm so happy that I feel like they listened to my show. Oh, I just know what the hell I'm talking about. And one of the keys I wanted to say was finish the drives. Finish the drives. We did that multiple times yesterday. It seems like every time we touched the ball, it was a touchdown. Every time we was getting the ball, it was getting deep, and it only took us 8 plays total just to get there. And let's get more stats, since everybody likes stats. Everybody likes them. You feel me? But it seems like that the Ravens understood that they had to finish drives, and it seems like once they finish drives, the multiple touchdowns would come. Which that had leads to number 2. The number 2 was get multiple touchdowns. We was able to do that in different fashions. Like I said, LJ was able to throw 3 touchdowns, and he ran in 1. Gus Edwards was able to run in another touchdown. And it seemed, like I said, it was in that first quarter, in that first half, it just seems like everything was clicking for us, like everything. And that's what makes it, and that's what makes the Ravens offense even more scarier. It's like if things like that can happen, oh boy, how do you play the Baltimore Ravens? How do you play them? You feel me? And first downs, we had 23 first downs yesterday. 23. That's how you get extra chances and able to finish drives. On third down efficiency, we was 4 from 8, 50%. So it's a 50-50 chance that you was getting the ball back or we was punting it. But more of the chances that we was driving downfield. We was one of one in fourth down efficiencies. Total plays, the Detroit Lions had called 72 total plays to our 55. So you can just clearly see that the Ravens were just clipping, was getting yards and points off of big clips, off of big chunks. And that's how I say they was able to finish drive and get multiple possessions of multiple touchdowns. And now that's them controlling the clock. Because as you can clearly see yesterday, Detroit Lions really had no answer for nothing. They had way more 3 and outs than anything. They was 5 from 16 on third downs. They only converted 5 third downs. So you can clearly see that the dominance was not in Detroit's favor. It took Detroit all the way until second quarter to get positive total yards. Because in the end of that first quarter, or midway through that first quarter, they only had 6 total yards. 6. And this is your MVP. This is MVP candidate. This is the NFL top team in the NFC. And not everybody was like, well, how come you didn't pick Detroit Lions as your top NFC? They're not a top. They're mediocre in my eyes. Like I said, yes, they turned the corner. Yes, they will win a division. They possibly can get to the second round depending on who they play in the first round. But other than that, man, Detroit is not a Super Bowl bound team. Jared Goff is not going to be the guy. He can get you to the Super Bowl as long as you put good pieces around him, especially a good defense. But other than that, they didn't show up. They just wanted to eat crabs. So on the offensive tip, man, I felt like the Ravens listened to all 3 of the things yesterday. Was finish drives, get multiple touchdowns, and control the clock. And they was able to do all of that. All of that, man. So shout out to the Ravens offense, man. The Ravens offense really showing that once things get the clicking, oh man, we are a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And that's really showing that our offense took a big jump up from last year. Because remember, last year we was probably bottom of the offense pool. You know what I mean? Bottom of their standings. Now we are getting things that we want to see Lamar get. You feel me? Remember, everybody didn't believe that Lamar can read defenses and stuff like that. Look like he can read defense this year when you spread the offense out, when the defense does not know your play automatically. When they sitting there guessing on how can you play Lamar? Because Lamar's still scary on the run, but he's getting more dangerous in the passing. What do you do? How do you play Zay Flowers? How do you stop Mark Andrews, who's our security blanket? This is like I told people these questions was going to come up in the first 5-6 games. It was you can see the potential, but now, like I said, man, if things carry over to next week, and I can't wait till Saturday to talk about that next week game. Whoo! It's going to be scary hours. for the Arizona Cardinals. But let's talk about the defensive side right now, yo. On the defensive keys, and I keep trying to tell everybody, this is a top 5 defense. Top 5. I think I might have to change my statement soon. I might have to say a top 3 defense, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself right now. They are top 5 defense for sure. And the reason why they are top 5 defense, one of the keys I kept saying was keep playing fast and physical. When you play fast and physical, man, sometimes the other teams cannot match your physicality. Can't match your energy. And like I said, the Detroit Lions couldn't match their energy in that first half, man. It took the Detroit Lions all the way until the fourth quarter to figure out how they was going to play things. How was they able to get that one touchdown? One. That's all they was able to get was one touchdown. So you can just see that one of the main reasons why I keep saying that the Baltimore Ravens is a top 5 defense because of their physicality. Nobody really right now is matching out physicality when it comes to this defense. Like nobody. We are dominating that offensive line, man. Justin Madubuike, my goodness, my God. You had one hell of a game. It was a toss-up between you and somebody who I actually gave that wings to. We'll wait till the end of the show. But Justin Madubuike, man, you are really coming together. You are showing that you are fighting for your contract this year. It ain't just Patrick Queen that's fighting for his contract or fighting for a contract. Him and Justin Madubuike, boy, they are playing lights out. And that's what the Ravens defense really need is somebody to play lights out in each section of the defense. You need somebody that can play lights out on that offensive line. You need somebody that can play, defensive line. You need somebody that can play lights out on that linebacker spot, and you need somebody that can play lights out on that DB's line. You feel me? And right now we have all three. I feel like we have on each section, each part of that defense, we have a dog. We have a guy that can really step up and be that guy. Now we got multiple dogs. Don't get that wrong. We have multiple dogs for real, but the way that this defense is built and designed, man, on each level of that defense, we have somebody that's sitting there waiting for you. You feel me? Because like I said, when we play fast and physical, good things will happen. Like the Detroit Lions didn't get over 100 rushing yards yesterday. As a team, they was only able to gather up 84 rushing yards. You know, and like I said, what happened to the DBs is the weakest link on our defensive side. It seems like our corners are playing good. Yes, All-Pro Marlowe might get, torch here and there, but he's still coming off an injury. So we can't fault him on that. Brandon Stevens, like I said, he's a dog, man. Even if he get beat on the play, he comes right back to the line of scrimmage and he keeps fighting. I really like Brandon Stevens, man. Ronald Darby is playing lights out also. Arthur Millette on that slot corner. My guy is playing. I really like Arthur Millette, man, number 10. I really like him what he's bringing to the table. He can bring that corner slot blitz. He can play that third wide receiver. Now he got one call yesterday, but when you play aggressive and physical and stuff like that, you tend to get a pass interference or a legal contact call, stuff like that. But there's no reason to give up. Another reason why I said that we are top 5 defense, man, is get pressure on Goff. You know how many times we sacked Goff yesterday? I can tell you. Give me 1 second. I believe he got sacked 5 times yesterday. 5 times. Yes, he was sacked 5 times for 31 yards. That's putting pressure on Goff. Goff didn't look like that MVP candidate as everybody kept saying he was. Because that pressure of that front line, Justin Madubuike, Jadeveon Clowney, Kyle Van Noy, all of those guys, Travis Jones, all of those guys was getting pressure back there to the quarterback. And once you get pressure to the quarterback, man, you're not giving him no time. We can clearly see what type of quarterback Goff is because we was able to force one turnover. And then that was the third key right there, was forced turnovers. We was able to get a turnover for my guy Geno Stone, who is tied number 1 in interceptions this year. Like he came out of nowhere and is balling, man. It's just because Marcus Williams went down, we still not missing a beat. And that's why I keep saying that top 5 defense doesn't matter who you plugging in there. That next man is playing like it's his last game ever. You see Roquan Smith is hyping out guys up. You seen what Roquan Smith said in the interview. He said, I'm from the business where you have to show me. And the Detroit Lions didn't show up yesterday. You know what I mean? So shout out to my defense, man. Like I said, we damn sure did not break yesterday. You know, we gave up 1 touchdown, but when they went for that 2-point conversion, obsolete, was nowhere to be found. Couldn't get it. You know what I mean? And we was able to they didn't score or even sniff the end zone anymore after that. Because of that defense, man. Because of who the guys that we had, who they are, man. So like I said, shout out to my top 5 defense, man. Y'all most definitely deserve it. Most definitely deserve it. Before I go to this next segment and my last segment of this show, man, it's just I most definitely would like to give the praises to our offense and defensive coordinator. On our offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, you is really putting in a good game plan together. You was really making Lamar look legit out here. You was really showing, and this is what I expected. Because if you can make that dude Stanton in college become a national champion and have teams to start looking at him on the pro level, just imagine what you was going to do to a dynamic quarterback like Lamar. And then on the defensive side, our defensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, man, you is playing one hell of a defensive strategy. You is really putting the right pieces in the right spots. You feel me? Like I said, everybody wrote off Jadeveon Clowney. Everybody didn't believe that Patrick Queen was going to have a sellout year. Everybody thought once we got rid of Chuck Clark that Kyle Hamilton was going to take a while to actually fill in those shoes. With all the injuries that we had on that back line of the DBs and stuff like that, you was able to show and you was able to still put out good strategies, good defensive game plans, and all that. So shout out to our offensive and defensive coordinators, man. They put the time in, they put the great game plan in and works. It's just now that these guys are really starting to execute it, and we're starting to see it, and we are starting to fall in love with it. It's just like I just can't wait to see how we are when it gets to crunch time, when it gets to playoff time. Can we still hold these same strategies, or we still going to have these same looks? And I feel like right now I can almost confidently say, yes, we will. And I think we will. You feel me? So shout out to the OC and the DC, man. All right. Last part of the show, man. Who deserved their wings, man? Who earned their wings yesterday? And on the offensive side, of course, everybody was like, man, his hands down was going to be LJ. You know, for what he did and how he played yesterday, yes. He most definitely deserved to earn his wings. But since I already gave it to him on the first day, I'm not going to give it to him on here because I feel like LJ will get back to having a great game, having another stellar game, and he will earn his wings again. So on the offensive side of this week, who earned their wings is my guy, Mark Andrews, who I feel like is the second best tight end in the league right now. Mark Andrews was able to put up stats of him having 4 receptions after being targeted 6 times. He got 4 receptions, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest play from scrimmage was 22 yards. He was averaging 15.8 yards a pop, man. So shout out to Mark Andrews for getting his wings, man. Like I said, I feel like he's the second best tight end in the game right now. He's most definitely Lamar's security blanket, safe blanket, whatever you want to call it. Mark Andrews is almost like 7-Eleven, man. He's always open. He's always there. He's always, when you need him, he's going to be there. So shout out to Mark Andrews on the offensive tip for getting his first wings of the season, man. And on the defensive side, it was tough because, like I said, man, I was going to go with Justin Madubuike at first. It was between him and the guy who I chose today. But I feel like the guy who I chose today, man, has really stepped up because it doesn't matter who starts the game. Somehow, some way, my man always finished the game, and he always put himself in good predicament. And like I said, man, he is tied for leading in the interception in the whole NFL right now. And that's my guy, our guy, Geno Stone, man. Geno Stone is most definitely showing his worth. He's really showing that he is dominant in the rough. You know what I mean? You had to dig deep in the dirt to find this guy. And Geno Stone, man, is really showing this. Is really showing who he really is, man. He had 3 solo tackles. He had 1 pass deflecting. Like I said, man, he caught that interception that made him tied for number 1 in the NFL, man. So shout out to Mark Andrews and Geno Stone, man, for actually being the guys who earned their wings this week, man. Shout out to him, man. Y'all had one hell of a game. Y'all really showing the potential of what this offense and our defense can really put out there and produce, man. And shout out to you, man. I got a couple of comments. Let's see real quick before I get up out of here. Let's see. My man Brandon, a.k.a. Arkansas 501. Bro, if John Harbaugh needs to talk to the head guy and tell them to keep McDonald's and have Todd Monken be the head and keep pieces that we have. But John Harbaugh needs to step down. I can't fully agree with you on that one, bro. You know what I mean? I'm still a Harbaugh fan. I still believe that it's Harbaugh that's really putting this staple down to say that play like a Raven. I really feel like it's really coming from Harbaugh. Yes, Todd Monken is doing one hell of a job. He's able to put Lamar in situations that we wanted to see Lamar in. He was able to put this offense into another level to where this offense should have been when Lamar had got his MVP that year. You feel me? So, like I said, I'm not going to say it takes a great head coach to know that you have to get rid of Greg Roman. I understand that, like, that offense, it wasn't a bad offense, but it wasn't an offense that can get you over the top or get you to where you wanted to be at. So it takes a great head coach to say, hey, we got to go to another direction because we didn't went in your same direction for 3 years and it's not panning out for us. Lamar keep getting hurt. He's not being able to finish the season like we wanted to. And even when we put ourselves in playoff predicament, we're not putting ourselves in best winning percentage. So it takes a great head coach to say, yo, he has to step down. It takes another great head coach to know that Wink Martindale is one of your homeboys. And you know, you always want to keep your friends on your staff. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like, you just can't. You think that your friendship will kind of break up your business relationship. You feel me? And for him to let Wink go, and like I said, I'm a fan of Wink. I wasn't really a fan of Greg Roman, but I was a fan of Wink. The only thing I didn't like Wink did was you knew that he's going to blitz and send an all-out blitz on third down. That was the only thing he didn't know how to disguise on. And for John Harbaugh, once again, being a good head coach, to know that the defense is good with the pieces that we have, he has to go. You know what I mean? So far, I'm okay with John Harbaugh as long as he's able to call great timeouts and put and is able to open up to what Todd Monken and what Mike McDaniel has. I feel like that John Harbaugh is safe. I think that he's going to be able to be in safe hands upcoming. Yes, I did want to choose Gus Edwards for my offensive player of the Wings, but I just felt like it was National Tight Ends Day. Why not give the Mark Andrews? Because on National Tight Ends Day, he was able to put up 2 touchdowns. You feel me? Another thing, Gus Edwards should be the number 1 guy for Baltimore. I most definitely feel like Gus Edwards should be the starting running back. Because Gus Edwards just doesn't matter where you put him at on this offense. he's able to produce. He's able to show you why he's a valuable guy. And I'm so glad that we was able to find him. I was so glad that he was able to take a pay cut to actually stay with Baltimore because he was on thin ice. I felt like that he was going to leave us last off season, but he took that pay cut and he was able to stay. And I'm glad he's able to stay because now he's showing his worth. Most definitely, I most definitely is the Geno Stone fan right now. He is most definitely balling out because whatever you place him at, he's showing that he's that guy that he can. No matter where you plug him in, he's going to play. So shout out to Geno Stone and Mark Andrews for earning their wings. Shout out to my guy Brandon, aka Arkansas 501, for actually commenting. Shout out to all my viewers as always that always keep running my views up, man. If y'all have not checked out my pregame episode, Rumble in the Jungle, go ahead and check that out as soon as you possibly can. Like I said, man, great takes. I put out great keys, great information, and all that good stuff. I feel like the Ravens is either listening to me or the Ravens. Oh, I just know my Ravens talk. You feel me? But as I'm wrapping this up, man, make sure that if you are not already there, enter the grid, yo. Follow the Grid Network. I guarantee you, dare to be different. If you're tired of the same old mainstream giving you the same content, same voice, same opinions over and over, don't look no more. All you gotta do is enter the grid, man. Dare to be different. Because like I said, the Grid Network has great shows. You feel me? We got Carving It Up with Bryson. We have All Even Podcast. We got Clutch Sports Talk. We got Outside the Cage for your MMA. We got The Forum because, you know, the Lakers and the NBA season is just it's about to start. We almost here. We got for the Raiders podcast, we got the Raiders roundup. And for if you're a Commanders fan, we got the Commanders on Demand. So if you are into any one of those shows, and also we got MTMO Sports Podcast, which is my own. And of course, you already know we got At the Bank. So make sure y'all go check out all those content creators platforms. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You feel me? So and also on the Grid Network, man, that's running subscribers up. You feel me? Let's get these subscribers keep running. Tell a friend who can be a friend, who want to be a friend. Yo, the Grid Network got what you're looking for as far as the sports world. You feel me? So as always, and always, big trust, dogs. Because why trust anything else? You feel me? And I will see y'all Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and on Twitter, you feel me? Or X, however you want to call it. But make sure y'all tune in. And as always, like I said, I'm out. See y'all Saturday.